next part is the curtain walls. I will just say right up front that curtain walls are not easy to do. They are very particular in how you do them. If you don't go in the correct order of steps, and if you don't use the right kinds of doors, it will not work for you. I'm going to start with my front curtain wall. A couple of things you want to think about is if we go to our elevation, you'll notice right here is where your floor levels and your roof level comes in. So you want to make sure that we're not seeing in this glass into those areas. So your curtain wall, you're going to want to put some dividers in some of these areas and either put in a different material at that floor level or put in spandrel glass, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. But we don't want to be able to see the floor slab, the ceilings, anything like that in these areas. If your vestibule is just a complete area like this with a wall that divides it off, then you don't really have to worry about that. It's just if you're going to be able to see into these floors, which you really should be able to because of your atrium space that you're going to have. So let's take a look at how to do the curtain wall. I'm going to go back to my level 1 and I need to unhide everything and go back into my plan, and now I should be able to see everything that I need to see. So we're ready to do the curtain wall. Again, if you haven't put the curtain wall in, you just go under architecture and you go under wall, architectural, and if you scroll down here to the bottom, you have a choice. You have curtain wall, you have storefront. Curtain wall is a self-supporting glass wall. A storefront is kind of like a frame system that fits into a wall. I'm okay with you using either one. I prefer that you use curtain wall, but if you want to use storefront, you can definitely do that. So what we want to do first is we want to switch to our elevation once we get the walls drawn in there. So I'm going to start with my south elevation. And to do this, I need to decide how I'm going to put my grids in. So if I go to architecture and I go to curtain grid and click on that, you'll see that now I can start to draw in some lines. If I want it to go horizontally, I kind of come over towards a vertical one. If I want it to go vertical,
I have to go towards the bottom of the curtain wall.
I'm going to start adding my curtain grid system. Now if I click on curtain grid, and you'll see over here it says all except picked one segments. So I want to put a pair of 4-foot doors in here. So I'm going to go ahead and place one right in the middle. And then I'm going to come over and I'm going to place one 4 feet this direction of that. And I'm going to place another one 4 feet in this direction. And then I'm going to place one right in the middle of each one of these. Then I'm going to come up the other direction, and because my ceilings are at 9 feet, I'm just going to go ahead and put a grid line at 9 feet. And this is all up to you where you decide that you want these grid lines to be put. So again, 9 feet, and then I'm going to go at my floor line, and then I'm going to go at 9 feet, and then I'm going to go at my roof line. Now, again, I want to put a pair of doors in here. Now, I can either leave it divided as I have it, or perhaps I want to just remove this whole segment to where I have just the 2 for the doors. The other thing is I put this at 9 feet. Well, my doors are typically 7 feet tall. So I want to add just an intermediate segment there, and I'm going to do just one segment. And I'm going to put it at my 7 feet here. Then again, if I want to delete this little segment here, I can do that also by clicking on my remove segment.
Now I have a transom above where my 2 doors are going to be.
So now I have this in the pattern that I want. If I look at the 3D view, I can see those same lines. So now I need to go on each side and add the same thing. So I'm going to first go to the west, and again I'm going to go to my curtain grid, and I'm going to decide
how I want to lay it out.
I'm going to put one right in the middle, and then I'm going to come off of it in the middle of that, and then one in the middle of that.
We really don't want our panels to get over 8 foot wide because they become very, very expensive.
And again, I want to add the same ones in from the bottom. I want to come up from 9 feet, and then at my floor level, and then another 9 feet, and then my floor level, and then another 9 feet, and then at my roof level. Then I will go to my east elevation, and I will do the same thing. So once I get all of my curtain grid lines in the way that I want them, it's very important before I convert them that I go ahead and look at it in 3 dimensions and make sure that they are all aligned the way that I want them. If you want doors in the side, you can do that. It's just however you want to do that. The next part of what I need to do is, if we look closely at this, you see they're not connected, there are no mullions, it's just basically lines at this point. I'm going to go back to my first level plan, and again, if we zoom in, we'll see that they're not connected. Those little dividers are showing, so I could adjust them if I would like, but I'm going to keep it just like this. Before you make them into mullions, you must put your doors in. So I'm going to go back to the south elevation. Now remember that when you add the doors, it has to be a curtain wall door. And to do this, what I need to do is I need to select this cell. So if I put my cursor over that and I click the tab key, now I have selected that cell. Once I do that, then I can come in and I can add my curtain wall double glass door. So if I click on that, you'll see now that my door is added. That has to be done before I turn this into mullion. Okay, so now I'm ready to turn my grid lines into actual mullions. So if I go back to my architecture tab, you see I have mullion here. If you look over here, you have choices of what type of mullions that you want to have. I'm going to go with the 2.5 by 5 inch rectangular. Keep in mind that this will be determined between the structural engineer and the curtain wall supplier on what the strength of these materials need to be and sizes, etc. So if I pick on that, I can go and individually pick each grid line, or I can just say all grid lines and pick each wall, and you'll see that now if I zoom in, I actually have 3-dimensionality to my curtain wall. That's the easiest way to do that. Now, one problem that I do have is if I look down here at my door, I have a mullion down here at the bottom. Well, if I do that, that's a tripping hazard. So I need to remove that mullion. So if I click on this and I hit delete, you'll see it will take that one out. So now I have my curtain wall in place. Now, if I want to change some of these panels, I can do that, and I will show you how to do that at a later time. So say I wanted glass here and I wanted like a solid material here, glass here, solid material, etc. I could do that. So that is the next part of the assignment. It goes through all of this. You can do single double doors, you can do double doors, you can find ones online and bring them in. Again, it's a little tricky. It doesn't always work the exact way that we want it. So again, you'll want to make sure that now when we go back to our plan, you'll see that the walls still don't completely touch. So we may need to make some modifications to get that to come completely over, because we don't want any gaps in our walls, so that we have everything completely tight and fitted.
In the last part of the assignment, we will talk about the exterior elevations.